Welcome back to Counterwave Radio. I'm Niels.
And I'm Bill. And pardon me, I'm currently creating a safe space for my coffee mug. Please don't look at it. It's shy.
We're doing something a little different today. We're cracking open the vault. Before we were Counterwave, we were Critical Defiance. And we were already yelling about how the world was getting a little weird.
Weird? Try dystopian. We found an old tape of you and Bobby Socks titled Self-Care in a Dystopian World, and honestly, it hits harder now than it did then.
It really does. Back then, we thought self-care was just turning off the news for an hour. Now, the media tells you that if you aren't doing a cold plunge at 4 a.m. while optimizing your macros, you aren't wellnessing correctly.
Right. We're sold the idea that buying expensive things will fix the stress the system creates. Spoiler alert, the lavender-scented candle isn't going to fix inflation, Niels.
Exactly. So, sit back, unclench your jaw. Seriously, do it right now. And let's listen to past us figure out how to stay sane when the headlines are on fire.
Here is Self-Care in a Dystopian World.
Let's face it, these days we're constantly bombarded with news and info 24/7 thanks to our mass media and social media. This overload can seriously mess with our mental health, leading to burnout and making it harder to get involved or stay involved with politics. Some of this is actually a part of the plan by the people in power, designed to wear us down. We're not about to let them do that now, are we? In order to narrow things down, we've researched a bit, talked to a number of professionals, and isolated some of the most common and useful ideas on the topic of self-care. So, without further ado, let's take a trip through tips for a sane resistor.
When it comes to trying to stay sane, stay together during this great, big, non-stop historical event we're all living through, one of the first things you should focus on is boundaries.
Definitely.
It's important to be informed. You don't want to be ignorant to what's going on right now. But if you just consistently doom scroll and take in all the nonstop negativity, you're just going to wear yourself down.
Doom scrolling has taken on a new meaning lately, hasn't it?
Yeah. If you don't limit yourself, you're just going to wear yourself down, and it's going to be harder to even get out of bed in the mornings. Set times. Decide the time of day you're going to look at the news, update yourself on what's going on, and don't let it be forever. Maybe a half hour at most if you're sitting there reading articles. Choose the days, choose the time of day, and maybe have your phone calendar give you reminders of when it's time to look at the news and when it's time to put it down.
That's not a bad call. Now, for me, it's a little more fluid, but I'll tell you what I do. I basically look at the news twice a day, unless someone tells me the world is ending. So I look at the news about 10 o'clock in the morning, and then I look at the news again in the evening. I give myself time to do it then, but I just pace myself that twice a day is enough.
Yeah.
Now, if those times change, that's fine, but you're not going to see me doing it 3 times a day or 4 times a day or doom scrolling, because it would just drive me insane, you know?
And I do just want to add to those more in my generation in this digital era who have things like TikTok or other video scrolling apps, maybe you do try to make it so your algorithm does have some of that political stuff and what's going on. If you have an algorithm that is politically driven, this counts for that, Facebook feed, TikTok FYP, Instagram feed. Time yourself. Don't just sit there because, through every 10 political horrifying news video, there's a video of a cat.
Right.
Don't get in that trick.
I think while we're on it and we're talking about boundaries, a great place to set boundaries is notifications. Think about what notifications you get and how often, and do you really want them? In most devices, whether it's Windows, Mac, iPhone, Android, you can get really fine-grained control of your notifications from your settings. Mm-hmm. Drill down and say, do I really need to be annoyed by this news source or this media feed every 20 minutes or once an hour For most of us, the answer is no. It's probably healthier to not be.
It's better to look on your own than get those consistent alerts of, hey, this is on fire.
No, and speaking of boundaries, I think one of the big places that I do boundaries is alone time. The opposite of my immersion time, my couple hours a day where I'm looking at the news and the media and what's going on in the world, I take almost an equal amount of time as just alone time, just me time. I need to reset, I need to process things, and I need to unwind, and I need my space to do that. But I would say in terms of advice, and I've heard this echoed by some of the people we spoke to in putting this episode together, is give yourself time by establishing routines. Give yourself a routine. My routine is twice a day, I completely zen out. I just go and do my thing. I either take a walk or read a book, but whatever I do, I turn the ringer off. And you need that, guys. You really do.
Yeah, and your alone decompress time, that can look different for everyone. If being alone and by yourself isn't really the best way for you to decompress and recharge your battery, then go spend time with those friends for a little bit or with your safe person. But make sure you have time away for you to just live and experience life.
I think that's a better way to put it. It's you time, not alone time.
Yeah, you time. Whatever recharges you, whatever helps you remember what being alive is and just existing. Just cut out that
Speaking
time.
of remembering what being alive is, you had a good one that you wanted to interject.
Find joy, make room for joy, and don't feel guilty about it. We have a lot going on right now, and I know for me, I can sometimes beat myself up when I'm feeling happy while, other parts of the country, people who are trans are definitely not. But don't do that. Find time for joy, let yourself have joy, and know that it's important to keep yourself moving forward, to let yourself have periods of happiness and to not feel guilty about it. As long as you're not hurting yourself or others while you find this joy, there's nothing wrong with it, no matter what's going on in the world.
So the thing about joy, like my way of dealing with joy, with finding joy, right? And this is the same for a lot of people I know. It's to perform random acts of kindness. To do little things, not big ones, that make a difference, that make somebody smile, that change somebody's day. They're not hard. They come around really often. The opportunity is there more often than you might think. But random acts of kindness are a great way of bringing joy into your life. So, I'm going to see you on your joy and raise you kindness. Kindness is good for all of us.
It's good for all of us. And remember, it can be little things. A random act of kindness can be something as small as smiling at that child you see in public and reminding them that happiness exists. We've been saying the word self-care a lot in this episode. I just need to remind everyone that we're talking about real self-care, not trendy self-care. I'm not talking about go to Bath & Body Works and buy yourself the most expensive candle.
Not ruling out the fact that we get mani-pedis together on weekends.
If it's in your budget and that makes you happy, go for it. But that doesn't need to be what self-care means. Self-care doesn't need to mean having this 20-step extensive skincare routine.
You don't have to be Patrick Bateman with the face.
Yeah, self-care and expression can go hand in hand. I know for me, dyeing my hair is a form of expression. It makes me feel better about myself. It makes me feel more grounded. It makes me feel like who I am. And that's just one form of expression. It could be makeup. It could be doing your nails. It could be something that's not on your body. It could be drawing, writing, playing an instrument, or doing a hobby. Get creative.
Yeah, because channeling emotion into creativity tends to be really therapeutic. It gives us a way to express parts of ourselves that we can't verbalize, but need a way to move into the world and actually express. What else we got? I think big ones for me, I work from home. So for me, getting up and moving is a big one. Getting up and moving is huge when it comes to self-care. Even little things, walking around the house, exercising is great. But when you can't, you can stretch. And if you can't, then take a walk. And if you can't, do the stairs a couple times. And if you have the opportunity, then do things that are more fun. Dance. Yoga. Motion tends to balance people's emotions and improve their mood and energy. It can be huge when you live a sedentary life to make even minor changes in the amount of mobility that you have.
Yeah, even if you work in an office setting, fill up your water bottle, walk around the office, just remember to get up, do something.
I have friends that take laps around their office building on lunch. They take their
so do
coffee
I.
with them and walk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with that, going outside, nature. I think nature's a big one.
Would totally agree.
You know, I'm not trying to go full tree hugger, but there is a reason that trees exist. They give us oxygen, vitamin D is important. Remember what the outside looks like. Even just
Grass.
touch grass, man. Even if it's just for 10 or 15 minutes. You don't have to go do a nature walk, take a hike, dance barefoot in the forest. If you want to do that, by all means, go ahead, more power to you. But remember that the outside exists, and just some fresh air, some 10, 15 minutes of sitting outside can help your brain.
You want something really wild, too. If you can take a walk in a natural setting, like a park, or even better, a forest, even small parks that have a decent amount of woods and trees are great for this. There are actually bacteria in the soil that have an effect on human neurochemistry. They tend to mellow us out and make us more in touch with our senses and decrease the level of chemicals like cortisol and increase the level of chemicals like dopamine.
Wow, that's actually something I didn't know.
Yeah, most people didn't catch that study. It came out 3 or 4 years ago, and they had found a number of different bacteria that have a direct effect on the human animal, so to speak. And it explains a good chunk of why nature is so refreshing. There's an actual thing going on there. There's something that you can quantify that's really cool.
Yeah, that is really cool.
I like my walkies and I like my trees. But
I was going to say, we're getting to some of the key elements of taking care of yourself. Sleep is a big one. It's hard in our capitalism, fast-paced, driven world to remember that sleep is important, but it is. If you're somebody who can take naps and enjoys taking naps, do that. Try to go to sleep at a regular time every night, or at least as close to a regular time. Remember
things
that
like sleep mode on your phone or do not disturb. Make sure that you're actually sleeping.
Yeah,
there are a couple big ones that people forget. Make sure your room is dark. There are 1,000 things in our lives now that have little LED lights on them to show that they have power, that they're charging, that they're working, or just because they wanted to put lights on them. When you go to bed, turn them off.
Yeah.
Because even small amounts of light have been proven in studies to disturb your body's natural rhythms during sleep. So go for as dark as you can deal with.
To intertwine boundaries with the news and sleeping, don't make your time to check up on the news right before you go to bed.
Or first thing after you wake up.
Yeah, don't be looking at that screen and then be trying to go to sleep. You know, it's very hard. I know my generation, we hear that and we just go, haha, yeah. But no, really, try to avoid screens, you know, and try to make sure your bedroom's main purpose is sleeping.
Absolutely.
Don't do everything in your bedroom. It's not the easiest thing for everyone, but if you can section off the parts of your bedroom, like you, Niels, you work from home. So section off the part of the bedroom that is work and the part of the bedroom that is sleep.
It goes back to habits and routines and setting up rituals. Having a dedicated safe space for sleep is very important to the human mammal.
If I'm going to go with sleeping, I'm also just going to add in hydrate and eat.
Hydrate.
Drink the clear, splashy liquid.
The liquid
water.
Is good. It is your friend.
Yep. Drink water. Make sure you're eating. Again, make sure you're doing both regularly.
Pay attention to the little things, the little basics. Are you eating? Are you sleeping? Are you breathing? All right, moving on.
Moving on. All right, so those are some of the big ones.
Some big ones, some ones that are in a different direction or a different style. We've been talking about things to do with yourself or to yourself Community care is a thing too.
Mm.
We talked earlier about having alone time. It's just as important to have social time. Connect with your loved ones, friends, family, and support groups, whatever works for you. Sharing experiences and leaning on one another can make a huge difference and helps make the burdens in life feel a lot lighter. I need to control the size of my social engagements, otherwise it's too much for me. You want to balance it. You don't want to overdo it. Keep it small, keep it simple, keep it close.
Yeah, remember, even though not all of us feel like it, humans are inherently social creatures. So make time. And if you can, get involved with your community as well. With what's going on right now in the world, your immediate community is going to be impacted.
You can find community groups, neighborhood watches, clubs, you name it, if you look in your local papers.
You might even be able to find soup kitchens and other things you can physically do to help out, or food pantries, things like that. Also, being part of your community could be doing something as simple as going and getting a library card.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. A simple act of support for a community organization. When you get a library card, you give them numbers. You show their patronage. You say, hey, there's another citizen that we're serving. And that helps them. So even if you don't use the library as often as you should probably have
We'll get into libraries on another episode.
Definitely.
But yeah, getting a library card helps your community and can also help you be more involved in your community.
Now, I think the place we wrapped this one up, we called the 12 points. We didn't break them out individually and say, this is point 1, this is point 2. We just kind of ran through them, which I think is cool. It was more organic. But one that I wanted to separate out and give special attention to was, very simply put, sometimes we need professional support, folks. Sometimes we need guidance from a therapist or a counselor if things are too heavy or we're too anxious or awkward and it's interfering with our ability to live our lives. Knowing that there's strength in asking for help, not weakness, that there's bravery in it, that it's something you can take pride in, is very important for a lot of people to hear. What do you think, Bobby?
Yeah, that was a big one, and that's a very good one. Professional help is nothing to feel ashamed about. I agree with you. It's something to take pride in. It takes a lot of courage to be able to admit when you need help. And
that's social, by the way, guys. That's cultural. That's because of the world we live in the 50s and the 60s and this perception that it created. If you are mentally ill, there is something wrong with you. And here's the thing. Animals become ill. They get sick. They all do. Whether it's a matter of getting a cold or the flu or funky toenail fungus, we all get sick. Sometimes your brain gets sick too. Sometimes it's as simple as your chemistry or as complex as your mind and spirit. But either way, there are people who can help. And you have to remember what we said earlier is the truth. Self-care is not something that you can just walk away from. It's not something that you can just put aside. So if you need to find that help, go ahead and do it. Don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid, and know that you can go to therapy for anything. You don't need to seek out professional help just if you know that you've had the worst childhood in all existence.
My therapist has been hearing about my relationship with my hair for 20 years.
Yeah, or you could just sit and admit that what's going on in the world right now is crazy and you need to talk it out with someone. Sometimes having that impartial party to just say, hey, this is what's going on in my life right now, it's crazy, can be really helpful. We all have our support systems, and those are great. But sometimes you don't really want to bog down the people who are closest to you with everything that's going on in your head, which is where professional help comes in.
And there's another place where people in my generation get a lot of fear of it, which is, they don't, in my generation, I'm a Gen Xer, we tend to not like the idea of having to manage other people worrying about us or having to deal with how they feel about the fact that something's up with us. It's not the healthiest thing, but going to a third party, someone outside of your circle of friends and family, opens things up for you. It gives you a way to talk to somebody in a safe space that's kind of your own. And that can be really important in life. If you haven't tried it, I would say give it a shot. See if it works for you. Most people on this earth could benefit from a little bit of time with a good therapist just to get their heads together and have more enjoyment of life.
Yeah.
So don't even look at it as always being a matter of I'm sick, I need to fix it. I'm broken, something needs to change. Sometimes it's a matter of how can I do it better? How can I be more me?
And sometimes you just need somebody else to help you figure out how to put those pieces together in the right order.
Yep.
That's what therapy does.
Yep. Sometimes it's the instructions for the Lego set.
Sometimes life is like trying to follow IKEA instructions, and then you go to therapy and you're handed a Lego instruction booklet and things start to make sense.
Yep. I love that analogy. I think that's a great place to leave our discussion for today. And just like that, we're back in the present. You know, Bill, listening to that, I realized something.
Oh, what's that? That you guys sounded a lot more optimistic back then? Or just that your microphones were worse?
A little column A, a little column B. But mostly, I realized that the noise we talk about, the media spin, the doom scrolling, it's not just annoying, it's an industry. There's actually a term for it, the attention economy.
Wait. You're telling me my anxiety is a business model?
Basically, big tech and media outlets monetize the time you spend being stressed out. If you put your phone down and take a walk for free, they lose money.
So what you're saying is me taking a nap on the couch this afternoon is actually a revolutionary act against the machine?
In a way, yeah. It's reclaiming your freedom. We want a freer America, and it starts with free minds. Don't let the algorithm dictate your blood pressure.
And please, stop buying $12 calming water. Just drink tap water and breathe.
Exactly. Stay sharp, stay critical, and for the love of democracy, take a break this weekend. We'll catch you on the next wave.
Later, everyone.
You've been listening to Counterwave Radio. Your guides were Niels, Bobby Sox, and Bill. Jesse made us sound smart in the studio, and Skeeter helped with the research. Now, go kickstart a conversation on our Discord, in socials, or over at counterwaveradio.com.